Hello, ma'am. Send me gift cards and your credit card numbers over the phone.
Once Chance Wilder gets all of her information, we're going on a shopping spree. I'm talking Gucci, Fendi, and Prada.
I'll send the police to your house.
You mean to tell me that if I don't send you my credit card numbers over the phone, you're gonna come to my house and arrest me?
Absolutely. I love shopping on Amazon Prime, especially when everything is free 99.
I can't believe people are so gullible.
Sergeant, be safe. You're right on time. Can you help me?
I sure can. Hello, Wild Chance.
Oh no, Sergeant,
Right.
be safe.
Never give out any credit card information over the phone.
I can't believe you led Be Safe right to us. Run, you fool.
Me? It isn't my fault. It was your idea.
You're caught and going back to jail. Remember, folks, don't buy gift cards and give that or credit card information over the phone, especially to a stranger. It could be Chance Wilder and his partner getting ready to rob you blind. Remember, take it from me, Sergeant Be Safe, and that'll be your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
Tilman. He is a son, a father, a brother, a law officer, an accomplished officer.
And 4 over and out.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's Coach Clee coming at you. It's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. You guys remember that from the lab. We've been going in the lab with your pen and your pad for over 3 years. And as of this year, 2022, January, we transitioned from the lab to the lab in black and blue, where we highlight individuals who are on the job in law enforcement, whether they're rookies, whether they're seasoned, whether they are retirees, and their experiences while on the job. And we appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you tag, like, and share. Get your questions ready. Ask your questions, and we will answer them as best we can. If you're looking for a shout out, also put your name and where you're from in the comment section so you can get the shout out that you're looking for. Since we're streaming on 5 different platforms, I can't always see the comments, or I definitely don't see who's all on here. So if you want that shout out, make sure you put your name in the comment section. Make sure you put a 1 in the comment section. Make sure you guys like this post. I see. Oh yeah, she's putting 0. She went back to the lab days. She went back to the lab. We don't do that anymore, but I appreciate you. I'm glad you had an outstanding day. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got a special guest in the background. I'll introduce him in a minute. Some of you may know him, others of you may not, but we're going to have a great time learning about experiences and things, what to do on law enforcement. But first and foremost, I got to give a couple shout outs. You guys see it in the comment section. MG4 Tech, one of our sponsors here. If any of your online needs, whether you're trying to start a podcast, whether you have a website, whether you have anything online, anything digital, reach out to them. Don't do it now. Make sure you do it after the podcast is over and see what they have to offer. I'm pretty sure that they can offer you something great. Also in the comment section, workwithclee.com. If you're looking to be a guest on the platform, reach out to workwithclee.com. If you're looking to write a book, you see a few of them back here, and there's other clients as well. Make sure you give a shout out to workwithclee.com. And One Way Publishing is affiliated with that. One Way Publishing, their motto is they can turn a mere thought into a book that's bought. So if you ever thought about writing a book on any topic, they can get it done for you. That thought can be transposed into a physical book or a digital book as well. But I'm not going to say it. Sergeant Be Safe can say it best.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Be Safe. One Way Publishing is the sponsor for the podcast Black and Blue. And these books behind me are a few of the books that are on their website. Check out the latest one, The Lab Part 2. It just came out. It's a compilation of former guests that were on the show. But make sure you tune into the podcast. That way you can see cartoons of me giving out safety tips on how you can be safe. See for yourself. Go to the website, workwithclee.com.
Subscribe now.
But what you guys are here to see, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, former guest on the show, one of the first guests we had right there, Frederick Douglass Reynolds, Eric McCants, my hero, my example of a real police. There we go. Shout out to him. I posted one of his clips earlier today on YouTube and on LinkedIn as well. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. He also wrote a book, guys. Check out his book. But without further ado, we got Eric McCants back here. He's an investigative narcotics sergeant. He's on the SWAT team as well in his local area. He's a sheriff in Georgia, and he's also, if you see him on social media, he's a workout guru. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring to the stage, but Sergeant Be Safe is going to welcome him as well.
Hello, this is Sergeant Be Safe. And I want to welcome all you viewers and our very special guest to Black and Blue. So get your questions ready and enjoy the show.
Film Pack. Subscribe now.
And I know, thank you for that warm welcome, Starting Be Safe. We appreciate you being in the lab. I know you guys are like, why are all these Starting Be Safe commercials? You know, he's a sponsor. I got to put him out there. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to bring Eric McCants to the stage. Eric, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm there.
Perfect. Hey, thank you for making yourself available tonight. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you on the show. I appreciate, like I said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Say that one more time.
I'm sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Like I say, my name is Eric McCants. Currently, I'm involved in law enforcement. I'm a sergeant in the narcotics division. I've been in law enforcement for right about 11 years. I initially went off to school to be in business management, but like I said, I studied in martial arts for about 15 years. Mm-hmm. My cousin has a karate school down in Augusta, Georgia, by Williams, and he taught me the martial arts style from Yoshikage, karate, and all that stuff. And he wanted me to do the business aspect of it. So I went off to school at 17 years old. It was a little too much for me, a little too young, didn't know how to go to class and do the work I needed to do. Eventually ended up having to withdraw from school just because I wasn't doing my work. Went off to work at a grocery store, seen a police officer over there. He was talking to another person about going to the police academy. I overheard it. My mother was initially talking to me at that time, like texting me, telling me I need to find something to do, need to get back in school or do something. Looked at the police officer, ended up talking to him. I figured out why the heck not. Ended up going to the police academy. I fell in love with it. I've been doing it ever since.
Okay. Gotcha. So is that, based on that interaction, is that how you got the bug, or did you have the bug beforehand, and it helped transition you?
Like I said, I never really thought about being in law enforcement before. Me and my cousin used to do security jobs. Like I said, we did martial arts. Mm-hmm. So we did security jobs, but as far as law enforcement, I never really thought about it. One of my best friend's father was in law enforcement, but even then, I certainly never thought about it until I seen that police officer.
Wow, impactful. That moment changed the course of your life. So can you tell us a little bit about your current responsibilities and duties that you have now?
Yes, currently, like I said, I'm assigned to the narcotics division. I'm a sergeant over here with my other partners. And basically what we do is we want to stop the flow of narcotics from coming inside our county. And if we do find individuals that are selling or distributing narcotics, we want to go ahead and try to eradicate them from the county. Like I tell people, the thing about narcotics is it's a $1 billion industry. You're not going to stop everything. But if you can stop something from happening or a person overdosing, anything like that, you're doing your job. And that's what we do over here in our narcotics division.
Gotcha. And helping somebody with overdoses, it seemed like they've hit an all-time high. Just doing a little research myself. I know I did a broadcast last month on overdoses. Do you see a lot more? How do you feel the war on drugs in your area? Do you feel like you're combating it, or do you feel like that it's being mainstream as opposed to having Narcan, someone going to all these calls where you're seeing fentanyl in these areas? Do you feel like you're doing a decent enough battle against drugs?
Well, I feel like in my county we're doing a good job. Like I said, you're not going to stop it, but we're preventing people from getting the drugs and getting to them and hurting them. But like I say, a lot of times people don't know they're into drugs. One of the biggest problems we're facing now is that people are making pills, but they're putting fentanyl in the methamphetamine, these pressed pills and heroin and stuff. And people think they're getting the regular drug that they're normally used to, but it's laced with fentanyl, then they overdose. So it's just one of those hard problems that we're facing. People get on drugs for one reason or other. And like I tell people, we're not here to target the users. We want to get the person that's distributing and making money off it and profiting off it. But it's all the bigger picture. Like I say, you think you might stop the kingpin, but it's somebody above them that's doing way more. So it's a never ending game. But like I say, if you could deter one or two people from using drugs or from committing that crime to get drugs, whatever like that, I feel like we've done our job.
Gotcha. Well, so being a supervisor in the narcotics division, what was it like actually working your way up to that when you were working patrol? Is that something that you knew that you wanted to do, or did you kind of fall into that niche?
Well, like I said, when I started at my agency, which is Burke County Sheriff's Department about 5 years ago, the division to be on was a crime suppression team, and basically it was a proactive patrol unit. So I started off on road patrol, but like I tell everybody, if you want to become better at something, you learn from them. So I started to do ride-alongs with them. I started to become a student of the game. Just anytime they need somebody to do anything, I'll do the paperwork, I'll take them to jail, whatever they needed to learn the process of how they did things. And eventually, in my first year, I was able to ask to come over to the crime suppression team. And honestly, that was my best division, I would say. We just did a lot going on. Like I said, you had the car chase, you had the foot chase, you had the narcotics, you found the guns, you had the people that had warrants and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that a lot. But one of the biggest persons that's influenced my career was my sheriff. I had already had my bachelor's degree. He was like, well, since you got your bachelor's degree, you should go ahead and try to get your master's degree. He said, you don't want to be humping calls and doing that your whole career. You know,
Right.
I'm young. I'm like, I could be running good in my whole year, but he said, you just never know. So I went ahead and got my master's. He said, well, you need to get some supervision under you just so you can learn how to, lead people and how to, handle different situations that arise from your troops. So at that time, he told me to go ahead and put in and apply for a sergeant position. So I became a sergeant on night shift patrol. I enjoyed that too. Like I say, you learn a lot by helping others do the job they need to do. So you'll learn your faults, and then you'll learn other faults and how to come together better to make a better difference. So I enjoyed that. And then he'll like, well, you need some investigative experience because he knows eventually I wanted to try to become a special agent. So he said, man, go ahead and apply for that. I applied for the narcotics position. And I ended up getting it, and I've been over here ever since.
Gotcha. You made mention that the sheriff influenced you into helping you get in the direction that you're in right now. Is there anyone else that may or may not be involved to help influence you or help mold you to the person that you are today?
There's several, but a couple people I think of is like your past guest, Charles Prescott. He was one of my old partners down there in Waynesboro when I first started. Basically, he was that larger life type figure. He's one of those people like, hey, man, come get in the car with me. I'm going to show you what to do. We just do what we do. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just riding along, enjoying the ride. But he always took care of me and showed me the proper way to do things and how to talk to people. Another person is Dennis Benino. He has a group called Street Cop Training. It's a pretty big law enforcement group. I met him through a class I was taking over interdiction work. Anyway, I ended up talking to him, messaging him. He told me to send me my videos of me interacting with people and stuff like that. And he, critiqued them, helped me get better. And really, honestly, he helped me become the law enforcement officer I am today on how to talk to people, build that rapport and all that stuff. So those are just a couple of people that influenced my career besides my family members, like my wife, my uncle, and who's passed away, who taught me martial arts, and then my grandfather.
Gotcha. And speaking of martial arts, having a discipline outside of law enforcement, how do you feel that affects you while you're on the job?
Well, one thing about martial arts, it teaches you patience. And in law enforcement, you got to have patience. Because if you know people are going to try your patience in law enforcement, and at the end of the day, you're supposed to there to create the peace. You're not supposed to, create more chaos. And that's one thing in law enforcement. You got to make sure you keep that level head, stay focused on the mission, and make sure you do what needs to be done. So that's one thing that I know that martial arts helped me with. Like I say, I remember hours and hours of martial arts training with my cousin, just sitting in horse stance, basically getting beat up. What I felt like he was doing was beating us up. But it was also just building me up to become the law enforcement officer I wanted to be.
Gotcha. And as we're talking about goals and where you see yourself or your department in about 3 to 5 years, if you had to set some goals that you'd like to share with us, some personal goals and professional goals, what would they be?
Like maybe if I can get over a specialized division, but I kind of enjoy what I'm doing right now. But basically, like I say, wherever my sheriff needs me to do, I'll plan to do it. Like I say, he's always played a very important role in what I've done. He's always helped me become the better person in law enforcement. So if he needs me to do something, I will. Now, some jobs you want to be on like bike patrol, something like that. As a bigger fella, I want to be on bike patrol, but whatever he'll need me to do. But also, like I say, I want to get more into teaching. Last year, I got my certification for a law enforcement instructor, but one day I want to become an adjunct instructor and start teaching people. But a lot of classes are online, and I feel like I'll better serve people if I was teaching face to face. So it's one of those give or takes. Like you got to make sure you get your foot in the door, but you got to still do what you believe is best for you. So I'm just waiting on that opportunity.
Gotcha. Well, you're a face to face type of interaction kind of person.
Yes, sir.
So how beneficial was that as far as a topic that comes up on this platform a lot is community policing? And you talked about having discipline, having patience. Community policing is also important, especially in the 21st century of policing, where either police officers are the highest need, or a lot of people see us at the low of lows. How important do you feel getting out in the community and letting them see you, and not always in such a quote unquote negative light where you're ruining someone's day?
Well, I think community policing is very important. Like I said, one, you're gonna build that rapport with people, and like I tell people, a lot of crimes that go on that you could solve is going to be because of the community and the citizens coming in with tips, helping you out solving that. And if they have a negative light about your law enforcement agency or your department, more likely they're not going to help you. They'll be like, but what's the point? So that's why I think it's always big of building that rapport, get out there talking to people, helping them what you can, doing the best you can to serve and protect them. just to help build that relationship. Like I say, it's going to be very important when crimes go on, when you're not there at that time and you need leads. People might not tell you directly, but they come talk to you on the side, like, hey, I know me, you're cool. This person or that person might have did something. You might should go talk to them. So that's why I believe community policing is big. And also, like I say, it just helps things go smoother. If you know a person and you dealt with them before, and they know what type of officer you are, they know you're good at talking to people, that you're going to be fair, even if they're in the wrong, more than likely you can talk to them and let them know, hey man, I might have to take you to jail, but you understand why. Instead of escalating the situation and have to fight them because they don't know you and they think they're going to go to jail anyway. So that's why I believe that type of relationship is important with the community.
Mm-hmm. And as far as community policing as well, if you kind of take a step back and discuss leadership, since you're in the leadership capacity, what kind of examples can you give us on your leadership styles, at least with your department?
Well, basically, like I said, I want to do like what people did with me, grab the younger officers, try to lead them to what they want to be at, understand them. Like I say, my sheriff was a big component of me going to school, and I try to tell individuals they're going to stay in law enforcement, they want to progress and all that stuff. Education is going to be very important. Not just to have a degree, but like I say, it gives you life experience. You deal with other people, you learn how to solve different problems, how to work together, because you can't do this job alone. And like I said, being a leader, you learn how to work with people. And you need to tell individuals, like I say, you're not going to be able to get out there and do this job by yourself. So if you work together with people and you help build them up, they'll build you up. So that's why I say, like, being a leader, it takes a lot. It's hard. But like I say, why, yes, you're up there high, but like I say, it's different when people look at you down low. So, man, you got to be able to bring them up to you.
Right. Leadership is quote unquote kind of like a servant's job. You still have to, you're the buffer between admin, where you still have to go and satisfy their needs. If they come to you with questions, you got to be able to answer. And then the guys who are looking up to you, you got to be able to fulfill their needs as well, answer their questions, and help them with help them grow and develop throughout the course of their career.
Yeah, like I say, it's tricky. But like I say, especially if you come from the ranks and you get promoted, some people don't think you forgot where you came from. But like I say, you can't act the same way you did when you was on that same level. And like I say, but you still got to have that same common ground with them and understanding where they're coming from. So it's kind of tricky. Everybody can't do it. Like I say, you just got to understand that you have two different jobs, especially if you're a frontline supervisor, because you're going to be, like you said, that buffer between the lieutenants, captains, and all that. And then you're going to be the voice for the people that's below you.
Mm-hmm. And as far as leadership, as you're out and about, either on patrol or dealing in different specialized units, have you seen a rise in mental health or mental illnesses as far as dealing with the public, or have you seen a rise in depression or any other kind of mental illness, for lack of a better term, and other officers or anyone in your department that you may have worked with, or even yourself?
Well, like I said, I haven't seen it firsthand in the agency that I work with, but like I say, in the public, you're going to see a lot more people with mental issues. And like I say, as a law enforcement officer, you got to know how to deal with it. But sometimes, like I say, if you're not used to that certain disorder or whatever, you might take it as aggression. But like I say, you see it happen all the time. And it's one of those things you got to train on. That's why I believe now a lot more officers are being trained on mental health and disorders and what to look for in those type of situations, or people when in distress, they act sporadic. So it's very important. Like I say, mental health is a big issue that we have, especially in law enforcement. Like I say, you see in the different agencies where suicides are being committed by law enforcement officers for one reason or other, but something's affected them mentally. And like I say, we got to have or try to do a better job of figuring out the roots of these problems.
Right. How would you say you can counteract some of these challenges, at least dealing with the public? You see a rise in these mental health calls. I know a lot of departments have co-responders or have crisis agents that go out and work patrol with the other officers. What kind of challenges do you think, or how do you feel that we can counteract a little the rise of these mental illness calls?
Well, like I say, if you're dealing with a person with mental issues, if you can have somebody, like even a social worker or somebody you would call that maybe a video call or something like that, to show them what's going on. Maybe they can help diagnose what's going on so you can better help the situation. Also, like I say, you got to build that rapport with the people around them. Like if it's a child or somebody that's kind of 18, 25, they have a parent around that's dealt with them, that knows it. You want to go ahead and talk to them as quickly as possible, figure out what's going on, so you can know how to, handle that type of situation. Because if you got somebody that's combative, first thing in law enforcement, we want to go ahead and take them down, get them in custody, just so we can control the situation. If they dealt with this person, they know how they're going to act when they come in contact with different people trying to control them. Then we can know, hey, maybe we should just stand off, make sure they're not harming anybody else or property, and maybe we can get somebody in there that can better handle or talk to them the way they need to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. I know, like I said, a lot of departments have co-responders that go along, and they deal firsthand with a lot of individuals that are actually going through a crisis themselves, and try and instead of having to put them in handcuffs and deliver them to a booking center or prison or wherever it may be, actually try and deal with that, whatever that crisis situation is, get them the right agency to help, whether it's a hospital, whether it's some sort of therapy or something along those lines, to try and mitigate what the social norm is, what people think is we deal with this individual and we take them here, then we wipe our hands. No, we actually have steps involved to get them help they need throughout the course of that crisis so they can have a positive outcome.
Yeah, like I say, you got to have different steps in place. Like I say, the old days of just slapping handcuffs on somebody and taking them in for disorderly conduct, those days are over with. So, like for us in our agency, like I said, we know we're encountering somebody with a mental health issue. We'll go ahead and inform EMA. If they're not combative, we'll try to get them to take them to the mental hospital, maybe get them checked just to see what's going on. If not, we'll put them in our car and take them up there, sit along with them if we need to until they get a good evaluation, figure out what the next step is going to be.
Right. Couple guests on the show who discussed retirement. They did however long a service, 20, 25 years, some 30 or beyond years of law enforcement, and they got to the retirement. I know a lot of us in law enforcement, we identify ourselves with our badge, and that's how we go forward. And having them on the show, they discussed life after law enforcement and the joys that they have. They got enough sleep. They got on a eating schedule. They were able to do all the things that regular people get to do because our job takes a toll on us. Do you have any suggestions, plans on life after retirement that you would like to foresee?
Like I say, teaching is going to be one thing that I like to do at the life after law enforcement. But like I say, spending more time with my family. Like I say, this job, most time you're going to spend a lot of time away from your family. That's why I say your work family becomes your family. So spending time with my family and traveling was going to be another thing. And basically, like I say, just trying to encourage and help people like people done for me. Like I say, there's always people that been retired all that. They always give you that good advice that you always can come to, and they'll let you know that things are going to be all right. I hope to be one of those people when I become retired and old enough to share that wisdom.
Gotcha. I know. I just went to a movie premiere on someone who did, I believe, 25 years in law enforcement. They're starting their second career at stage theater and acting, and just giving hope onto those that there is something to do after you retire. But not trying to get to the end of the boat after retirement. I know throughout the country, a lot of departments, not in all occupations, not just law enforcement, is having issues with recruitment. And not only issues with recruitment, but finding qualified applicants as well. Can you discuss some of the challenges or suggestions that you can provide for a lot of departments here in this nation on how to find the recruit this newer generation and find applicants that are actually qualified to handle this kind of profession?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things is going to be pay. You got to make sure you pay people. Like I say, we have one of the thankless jobs. Seeing how people bash us in the media all the time. And people think I can make more money doing something else. Why I want to become a law enforcement officer. So that's why people always say it's not made for everybody. But pay is going to be another big thing. And make sure, like I say, you got to get out there in the community and let people know that, hey, we're not just robots. We're actually real people. We have lives. We're come from the same place that y'all come from, but we have this job that we enjoy. So you got to be able to have a person that can reach these type of people, that can build that rapport, that knows how to talk to people and make them feel comfortable enough to even come along and just share the joy of being a law enforcement officer. That's why I believe ride-alongs is a big thing, just so they can get a taste of what's going on. Because a lot of people see cops, they see live PD on and stuff, and they think we're all car chasing and all that stuff. But even after that car chase, you're going to be in that room doing paperwork for 2 or 3 hours. So you got to understand that all comes with it. So it's kind of going to be kind of a challenge. Like I say, just right now, it's a bad time for law enforcement, just because of the way media depicts us and some of the incidents that have happened. Like I say, sometimes law enforcement is in the wrong. So it's kind of hard for us right now, but you still got to keep trying at it. You got to be up on social media like a lot of people are trying to do it. But I know a lot of the older officers, they kind of disagree with the TikTok videos and the Facebook videos of law enforcement officers. But I say this new generation, that's how they relate. They understand with things like that. So you got to be able to change with the times and just try to reach them.
Gotcha. And I know a couple college kids are soon to be high school graduates. Reach out often, and they want to know what are the benefits. I'm like, oh, I don't know, law enforcement. Like since 2020, I did want to become a cop. before 2020, but 2020 kind of changed my mind. And so they're looking elsewhere, looking to do something else. Or you got a couple guys who are military or prior service. They're like, okay, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know what kind of qualities do different agencies prefer. Would they like me to have some sort of security background? Would they like me to have some sort of degree? Would they like me to be some sort of infantryman? Would you know political science? What kind of suggestions would you give to the younger adults or the younger generation on qualities that their departments would prefer?
I would tell them they would like a diverse portfolio, because you never know who you're going to encounter. Like you say, you want some people from both ends of the spectrum. College degree is good, but like I say, it's not needed in law enforcement. Like I say, just because you have a college degree don't mean you're going to be a better law enforcement officer. It's good to have. I know great officers that have it. They have officers that have it. They're not great officers. Right. Some people come in here with GED and they'll be the best officers you know, so that's not important. Military is always good, but like I say, teach you how to present yourself, you know how to be in law enforcement, know how to take commands from people, you know how to handle a job and see it through. So just having that different life experience is going to help you be a law enforcement officer. And that's why I tell people the good thing about law enforcement officers is not just one set thing. You're not just going to be on patrol. You can go to traffic. You can do investigations. And investigations, you got murders. You got, you know, child crimes. You got sex crimes. You got white collar crimes and all that stuff, narcotics. So that's that's one of the good things about law enforcement, that you can go into so many different aspects of it. And so you won't just be at the same part of the job your whole career. Like I say, some people like patrol. Some people want to be on patrol for 20, 30 years. Other people have different aspects of or aspirations of going to be in a narcotics division or be on a SWAT team. So you can work towards those things once you come to law enforcement. So you won't just be seeing the same thing every day. And that's what's so great about law enforcement. No day's going to be alike. No matter where you work, something different is going to happen every day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is very true. It is a front row show in the world, and no 2 days are the same. Sometimes you deal with the same people over and over again. Other times you don't. But one thing I will say, me personally, I got into this profession not wanting to do a bunch of paperwork. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to be kicking in doors. I'm going to be jumping over fences, having fun, be out here making a difference, be impactful in the community. And, you know, I come from an athletic background, come from a military background, got some college in me as well. So I'm like, oh, this is all encompassing. I'm going to be doing this. Just like you said, at the end of that car chase, what happens? You got 2 or 3 hours worth of paperwork that has to get done. And I'm like, man, your grammar's got to be right because it's a legal document. So all the things that I didn't think were important were the things that are necessary to be successful in the job.
Yeah, I'd say that's one good thing or one of the most important things about law enforcement is the paperwork. But like I say, it's going to be held to you. Like I say, when you go to court, anything you put in that report can be held against you. So you got to make sure you do it the right way. Yep. Make sure that you grammar's correct and all that stuff. So you can go to court or you go anywhere, they'll know that you know what you're talking about and that you did it the right way. So, yeah, you might have your fun out there for that split 2 or 3 minutes. But, man, the paperwork that comes afterward is where the real part begins.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a pause for the cause because Sergeant Be Safe has something he needs to tell us.
Small crimes turn into bigger crimes if not dealt with. The broken windows theory.
Hey, Rob, you blind. I saw you break that window.
Meddling busybody. That window was like that when I arrived.
I'm calling the police.
Ooh.
Don't run. Sergeant Be Safe. I saw Rob you blind try to break into that building.
Thank you, concerned citizen, for letting me know. We will definitely investigate. Minor crimes such as vandalism, loitering, curfew violations, public drunk, jaywalking, or driving with your headlight or taillight out. Minor crimes turn into bigger crimes if not reported.
Huh. Sergeant, be safe. I would have gotten away with this if it weren't for you and these nosy citizens.
Community policing begins with you. So if you don't want to see your neighborhood go down the tubes, if you see a crime, report it. Sergeant Be Safe here. That's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
And like I failed to mention in the intro, we are streaming on 5 different platforms. If you like those Certain Be Safe commercials, you can see Certain Be Safe on the YouTube platform under Clee Tilman. We're on 2 pages on YouTube. We're on 1 page on LinkedIn. We're on 2 pages on Facebook under Coach Clee and Black and Blue itself. So make sure you guys tag, like, and share along with that. And if you're looking to be a voiceover, workwithclee.com, always looking for voiceovers for the cartoons. The cartoons average about, just like we go live once a month with a special guest, we have a new cartoon at least once a week with Sergeant Be Safe itself. All right, but enough about Sergeant Be Safe. We've been talking about retention. We've been talking about applicants. We've been talking about recruitment. We got Eric McCants backstage right now. I'm bringing back on stage. Eric, you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Perfect. And like I said, we were talking about applicants. We were talking about recruitment. But what about retention for a lot of seasoned officers? Like we talked about, 2020 was a year that kind of changed the game for a lot of people. You see a lot of the protests, you see a lot of riots, and the media is taking over and kind of set the narrative and kind of put us in a very negative light. And a lot of negative things have happened, but there's also been a lot of positive things too. And you've got some good officers out there that are seasoned, or officers that's almost at the end of coming close to their retirement, and they're pretty much ready to wipe their hands and walk away. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Just to hang on in there and let them know, like, the pendulum is going to swing back eventually. Like I said, like I've talked to older officers. They said times like this have happened before, where these type of problems and everybody's against law enforcement. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to eventually swing back towards our way. You just got to give it time, and it's a hard time for all of us. Like I said, we see it. We've seen it in the media constantly. But you got to understand the reason why you did your job. You didn't come to the job to be thankful, or to be thankful for what all you do. And that's why I tell people that's been in a law enforcement game for a long time, like I say, just keep holding on, keep inspiring the younger people at you. I'd say they're for the inspiration to keep doing this job. And if you are always complaining about it, like I said, that's going to give them a bad taste. Like, better days are not coming. So if you can keep that positive attitude and just let them know that, hey, while this might be hard, our better days are coming. I've been through this before. We'll see you through. Just keep working towards it. Remember why you do this job. Then I think that'd be a little bit better way of retaining people and keeping individuals that want to come into this job.
Gotcha. I talked to a recent retiree. I asked him the same question a couple months ago, and he compared this situation with the Rodney King situation and how that affected police officers nationally. And he said also, like we say on this platform, law enforcement, the job is cyclic. At many times it will be at the very bottom where it seems like we're hated, not needed. Anything negative, it will be associated with us. Most of the time during most of the career, we'll be somewhere right in the middle where it's okay. It's nice to see us. Hey, thank you. I really don't, you're not needed. So it's out of sight, out of mind. And then other times we'll be right on top where everyone's, hey, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for your service. So many wonderful things. And it keeps following that cycle. And something right now where it seems like we were at the bottom for so long and we're slowly coming back up to where it's almost mainstream or so. But the cycle will continue to take effect. During that, with the dealing with the cycle, you said just stay the course and you'll be back on top again. And like you said, also maintain a positive profile. And the officers that are watching you, they're looking to see how you're going to perform because they're going to follow right in those footsteps as well.
Yeah, like I say, one thing about law enforcement officers, like I say, we're going to pay attention to the ones that's been there before us. And like I said, we kind of feed off that. Like I say, well, they've been through these car chases, they've been through these foot chases, they've been through these bad times. And if they're always complaining about it, we're going to be like, well, hey, I'm going to end up being that grumpy officer. Some people are like, they're okay with that. And some people are like, well, maybe this job is not meant for us. So that's why you still got to make sure you stay positive no matter what. I say we're all going to have bad days where we're going to complain and all that. But you got to let these young officers know because, they feed off your energy that, better days are coming. Like I say, it's rough. We all understand that. It's just one of those things that we're going through. But keeping that positive mindset and letting them know that better days come will probably help out more than giving them negative information and tell them that, forget this job. It's not going to get any better. Nobody likes this. Just do your job and go home. So staying positive is going to help out.
Gotcha. So what would you say to the officer, or tell us about your experience on becoming and working in the SWAT environment? How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. Like I said, I work in an agency where there's about 20 of us on a SWAT team. We're not a big agency, and we don't work in a county that has a lot of individuals, so we don't get too many call outs. We might get 5 or 6 call outs throughout the year, but when we do, like I said, we train all the time, so we make sure that we're ready. So any situation that comes about, we're able to deal with it. So I mean, I enjoy SWAT practice. Like I say, I enjoy shooting as it is, but I enjoy the physical aspect of it and just that bond that you share with your teammates, because you know that no matter what's behind that door, when you step through it, they're gonna come through it with you. We're gonna come with it and do what we need to do to solve the situation. It's very exciting. It took me a minute to get on it. Like I can say, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm a pretty big guy. I never like running long distance. That's never been my cup of tea. Some people could do it. They can get out there and run 2 or 3 miles and be fine with it. Me, I run 800 meters. I'm like, well, that's about it for me. So I had to learn how to run long distance. Running a mile, like I say, it was pretty rough for me. Like I said, I was about 320 pounds before I got on the SWAT team. Ended up dropping down to about 260 pounds, got on the SWAT team, made the qualification. So it was a work in progress, and that's why I tell people, if you want to do something, you got to work at it. Take your time, figure out what needs to be done, get with people that's done it before so they can give you the type of tips that you need to push you through. And eventually I got on the team, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Gotcha. It's a decent amount of weight to lose in a workout session and building yourself up to 800 meters to a mile. I mean, that's a huge triumph in itself. What other feats had you had to overcome in order to actually get accepted into the group?
Like I said, you just got to build that bond with them. Because most of the people that was on the SWAT team, they came down from another county where my sheriff got elected. Most of them were already on there. So when they would run and do their little different qualifications and stuff, I wasn't even on the team. I would just go out there and run with them, talk to them, figure out, how you do this, how you do that, how you shoot better, how you do your push-ups and sit-ups, how you keep your breathing under control when you try to do that. And like I say, just try to build that rapport with them, let them know that I'm really interested in what's going on, and let them know that I'm willing to do the work that needs to be done to get on the team. So that's why I tell people, a lot of people will tell individuals or groups that they want to be part of the team, but they don't do the steps necessary to get there. And that's why I tell people, it's always become a student of what you want to do. Like I say, if you have somebody that's a powerful instructor that teaches good, go sit at their classes, catch them after class, talk to them like, well, what you do to do this? Like I say, that's pick their brain and figure out what they did. Like I say, you don't have to mimic them, but come up with your own ideas on how to get to the level that you want to get to. So that's what I did with everybody else.
Gotcha. You can learn a lot from your leadership, believe it or not. Like we talked about, a good leader. I was going to say sergeant. A good leader and a bad leader both will teach you something. You can emulate the good leader. They're like, I want to be just like this leader when I get in that position, or a bad leader who's in that situation. You learn what you don't want to do. Like, when I get to this situation, I'm not going to do whatever this person's doing.
Yeah, and I say one of the best teachers you're going to get is a bad leader. Definitely, if you've been under him, you're going to be like, well, I'm definitely not going to act like that when I get there. Yeah. And like I said, we all had them. Some people are just bad leaders naturally. Some people don't know what they're doing. And sometimes you just got to talk to them, let them know that, hey, man, I understand what you're trying to do, but you're coming off wrong to people. And some people don't know they're coming off abrasive or whatever it is until you sit down and talk with them. So a bad leader is going to teach you a lot of what not to do and how you don't want to treat the people that are under you.
Right. So how do you feel that you make a difference in your community, with your department, and with the nation of law enforcement in itself?
Well, actually, that's one of the good things about working in narcotics. No matter how big or small the bus you get, like I say, you make a difference. You stop somebody from possibly overdosing. That's one of the biggest things about, dealing with methamphetamine, heroin, and all this stuff. You're stopping crimes from occurring. It's a lot of violence that surrounds narcotics, and people deal with it all the time. So if going out there and stopping people from, like, say, purchasing these pills, stopping the dealer from distributing them in the community, because you never know who's going to get their hands on it. Like I say, right. It might be a child, it might be an elderly person, or it might be anybody in between. And like I say, you see it all the time with these narcotic deaths, or even officers getting in trouble, not getting in trouble, but coming in contact with them and getting that high and all that stuff and passing out. If you could prevent just one of those, like say, you're helping out. And that's one of the biggest things about working in narcotics. Like I say, it's going to be a thankless job. You're going to have crazy hours. Like we tell people, like I said, we run on dope time. So the dope time is anytime. They tell you they're going to be this person at 3 o'clock, 6 p.m. They're like, okay, well, I'm on my way. And you be like, I'm about to leave. So it's just one of those things. But just knowing that you're making a difference in that type of way is really, really big for me. Like I say, I've seen it before. I've seen people that I had to try to give Narcan that didn't work, and they eventually go pass it on. So it's just one of the things that, helping someone, overcome becoming an addict or stopping them from getting them drugs, is something that means a lot to me.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I do remember those days when I was involved in narcotic investigations, and I remember, we worked from 8 to 4, but realistically, we worked the third shift, and the third shift is that's when it goes down. So you can plan out your day. You can have however you want to do your paperwork, however you want to do your surveillance, however you. I don't want to put too much out there, but however you want to plan out your day, as far as it. But no matter how you plan, Murphy's Law does take effect. You prepare. Whenever you plan, prepare that plan is not going to work, because something's going to throw in a monkey wrench is going to happen in the course of that day. You're going to have to readjust your entire day to deal with whatever issue just arose.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. Narcotics not for everybody. But like I say, man, it's you can be at home, you can be off for 4 or 5 hours. You get that call from the person that you're willing, and they're like, hey, man, you need to go ahead and move right now. You got to get your clothes up, get your people up. Like, hey, man, we got to go. So it's just one of those things. Like I say, you just got to have that passion for it. But like I say, person that works narcotics, man, like I say, it could take a lot out of you. But like I said, the reward of it, like I say, you get those drugs laid across the table, knowing that you stop this major organization from spreading these narcotics in the community that you live in, should be a good feeling for you.
Yeah, it truly is a brotherhood too. I know there's many times where a lot of guys that I know firsthand, and I've experienced things where I was at an anniversary party before. Got that call like, hey, we got to pay the bill. We got to get moving. I'm sorry, I got to drop you guys off home. I got to make a beeline to go ahead and get suited up. We got something that we got to deal with. And in that moment, it's not as fun, but the camaraderie that you have and the issues that you deal with, you actually do feel like you're making a big positive difference, because if not you, then who?
Yeah, and that's why I tell people that's one of the best parts of law enforcement is the camaraderie. The friends you have, the laughter you have, the jokes you have with the people that you work with. But like I said, a lot of people are not going to understand your humor if they're not in law enforcement, they're not been around you. But man, like I say, the jokes you have with your partners and your teammates, man, is nothing like it. And like I said, that's just what makes the job so enjoyable. So especially if you can get around people that you enjoy being around, you work with them. Like I say, you just build that family type relationship. I say it's nothing like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about a great deal, and we talked. Of course, I want to dig further, but I don't want to put too much out there, because I mean, the show Black and Blue, we do get about the personal experiences, and I'm not trying to go too deep into it. If you want, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you want to get too deep into it, apply, come out and do it. Do this job. This job is fulfilling. This job is very beneficial. This job is very necessary. But without further ado, I do want to ask. Through the course of this conversation, I may have forgot to ask a question, or it may have jogged the memory of something that you would like to have said. Is there anything that you would like to share with us? Anything that I may have forgotten to ask? Right now, the floor is yours.
Not really. Like I said, man, I'll tell a story that happened to me just recently. Like I say, me and my partner, like I said, we was out there working. We had stopped a guy, like I say, for drugs and all that stuff. He was an older guy. He was about 71 years old. So anyway, we were dealing with, we had an arrest warrant for him, so we knew we had to get him. So we riding down the road, we see him, he sees us, and 71 years old, he decides to take off running. So my partners are in the truck with me. They're up and screaming at me, you need to go. I say, in between that time, cars are passing by. We're sliding off the end of the road. Eventually, they just jump out the car, leave my car doors open while I'm driving. So they chased this 71-year-old man down. I had to get back in my truck and close these doors and ride back to him. And then when we stopped the guy dropped everything else he had, but he had a cup in his hand. And he said, y'all finally got me. And he's laughing about it, but he had a cup of alcohol in his hand. He said, I won't go drop that. He said, that's what's important to me. And we just all laughed about it while we took him into custody. But that was just one story that I shared right there.
Gotcha. It's crazy too, because as you say these stories, they make sense to me. I get it. But it's the little things that, wow, yeah, they did all the running, the age of the person, and the one thing that they weren't going to get rid of is something, it may not be important to you, and you looking at me like, why I just throw it out or dump it or whatever. This is what's important to me, and that's
he won that last sip.
Make that thing happen. Absolutely, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate your tag, like, and share, following the page. I enjoy watching your videos and your memes that you put up on different social media platforms. I appreciate you making yourself available on Black and Blue. Really, again, eventually I do want to have you on the show a little further, go a little deeper into a little bit more, some more personal questions, but we'll discuss that in the future. How about that?
Sounds good to me. I appreciate you having me on. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you keep your questions coming. This will be, if you have a replay, we'll address whatever your questions are. But Sergeant Be Safe is going to head us out. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's Black and Blue. We all love you.
Hey, who is that? I see you there sneaking around.
Oh no!
What were you doing behind that building?
I was sneaking around.
Sneaking around, huh? What's your name? Haven't I seen you before?
My name is Bubba Bigfoot.
Do you mind taking your mask off? Aha! Just what I thought. I knew it was you, Chance Wilder. You shouldn't lie and give a fake name to the police. Now I'm gonna have to take you in.
I'm caught again.
I'm glad it wasn't me this time. It would have been a real bummer.
You should always be honest, upfront, and courteous when dealing with the police. Otherwise, it causes all sorts of other problems. Wild Chance is back off to jail.
Film Pack.
Subscribe now.